Welcome everybody, it's the Pro Spartan Gamer, and I've been wanting to do this video for probably the best part of 6 months since the PES 2020 came out. I haven't done one for a few years about my ideas of where the Master League should go or things that could improve the Master League. So all through lockdown and beyond, before then really, I've played quite a lot of Master League this year. I think not all on YouTube, but obviously I started with the Spartans and I'm in about season 6 on one Spartan save, which I'll just show you here. So I have given it a fair bit of game time, and now I've just set up the Legends, Spartans Legends League, which we've made a league, and we're obviously doing that series at the moment, just approaching the end of series 1. So this is my saved Master League, if you like. So we won the league, really bashed it, done loads on it. So let's just have a look at the interface and what we'd like to see change. I mean, the interface is fine, nothing wrong with the presentation of this. Obviously 2021 will be tweaked a little bit, no doubt, but a few fundamental flaws that could be cleared up quite quickly. Messages come in this year, new thing for messages. So all of these down through here, just simple scouting results. If I press X from here, it takes me straight to the scouting results, not have to find another menu and go in there. Negotiations with Kalatar car, click on that and see what's gone wrong with that. You know, why can't you go straight from the message menu to the icon that it's highlighting? Because otherwise it's just a waste of time. So that's one little fundamental thing that just needs clarifying and sorting out there. A lot of these duplicate themselves. Negotiations, again, my team, very similar to the squad list. One touch I do like, which is obviously come in the last couple of years, is that. So you've got career stats of a player while he stays with you, and I like that. So you can see Bodu, 237 games played, 121 goals and 37 assists. That's really good. Everything's good there. Don't mind any of that, to be honest. All of those have been pretty consistent through last PESs of the last probably 10 years, and they're fine. When it comes to buying people, I mean, the advanced search, brilliant. Best thing, outdoes FIFA easy for me for searching for players. Really good search engines. Other teams, negotiations, not got any ongoing at the moment. Slightly better than, let's just, it's still quite basic, isn't it? I mean, this, you've got no idea what they want. You know, I'd much sooner have an inquire button, and then they come and tell you, and you start negotiating. They come back and say he's really not for sale at the moment at any cost, or he's going to be 45 mil, and then you go on from there. Because this sort of moving this doesn't make a, you know, the club is resistant in parting with one of their key players at the moment, but it doesn't make any difference when you move that up unless you go to the sort of the full release clause. And I mean, the trouble is on 2020 Master League, nearly every player has a release clause. Every player you sign has a release clause. You can't negotiate it. You can't say, I'm going to give you shitloads more cash a year to get rid of the release clause, because it says, oh, you've rubbed them up the wrong way. What is it, some sort of massage parlour? You've rubbed them up the wrong way. I mean, it's just stupid. So again, I didn't think I liked the budgets when I first started playing, but on this year it is slightly better. So the budgets here, it does work out a little bit better, and you can't go spunking all the money in one go. You have got to work a little bit for the money, which is, you know, and you can change these. It doesn't make a massive amount of difference. I think more could be done on it, but I'm going to go into that in a little bit more detail in a minute. Oh, we could do it now actually. So you've got gate receipts, you've got merchandise, competition, blah blah blah. I think it's time now. I think PES had the opportunity to sort of become more of a role-playing game on the Master League. I mean, it doesn't necessarily follow exact suits of real stuff, does it? I mean, especially if you go making your own teams up and everything else, and the default team, if you start as that and all that, you know, you've got made up players on the game and everything else. So it doesn't have to be real. Perhaps have bog standard authentic Master League, and then have a role-playing Master League or something that gives you another option. But I think all of these on here, or the majority of these on here, gate receipts, I think you should have different budgets. So you start off, when you start off with the Master League, you decide whether you're going to have large, medium, small, whatever budget, that's fine. But then you have a bunch of money, I don't know, 50 mil, and then you've got sub budgets that you decide how much money you're going to invest in. So like gate receipts, they could be two factors that alter how much money you get in your gate receipts. One, obviously, results. If you're winning games and the crowd's going to be bigger, more people are going to want to watch you as you go up through the league, etc, etc. So that will impact how big that gate receipt is, but only to a maximum of how many people you're actually getting to attend at the ground. So maybe in that budget, you might have to say, I'm going to allocate 5 mil a year or 10 mil a year to increase the capacity of my ground. And then you get little windows of how much you need to increase. So 1 million in the gate receipts is nothing. It maintains the ground to the same standard as it is now. 5 million, it increases it by 5,000, and this will give you extra amount of money at the end of the year. Or 10 mil, or maybe you have one like 30, 40, 50 mil that you're going to go to a whole new ground, and have some animations of sort of the ground growing and work going in the background and increasing the capacity of the ground, and that will give you gate receipts like that. Then have perhaps another budget the same, commercial, so sponsorship deals. So you're out to get the biggest sponsorship, but you've got to invest money, or you've got to buy a commercial team, and if you buy like a really good commercial team, he's going to get you better sponsorship deals, things like that. I think also you need to be rewarded with money every time you win a game. If you win and if you score goals, I think you should get more money to go into the pot. So then if you're on a real crap run and not earning any money, it becomes harder and harder, which it would be in real life, because you're not actually making any money. Obviously you get the season objective bonus, which is what the chairman's done. That's quite a good thing. Contract options, etc. But the other couple budget things I would have development youth team. I'd have a budget for that. So you put, again, 1, 3, 5, 10 mil, however you want to do it, but invest a certain amount of money in that, and that governs how well those youth team players develop and what quality of youth team appears in there every January and every summer. But I do think the youth team has got too big. I know they've brought more players in, but I would like the youth team, you to have more control over the youth team and not actually have to bring them up into the side. Have more control, so you're governed, and you can go through the youth team. Always got to keep 15 or something maybe, but go through it. So when you have like the new intake come in, if you want to release some of the crap ones that you're never going to promote, then release them. Maybe it'll cost you a little bit out of your budget to release them, but do that. And I'd also like the opportunity of buying players, say under the age of 20 or 18 or whatever you want to stipulate, and actually putting them in your youth team to develop, and maybe just like giving a contract to the youth team players, but them staying in that youth team, but you having the ability to call them up for a couple games, not actually promote them fully, just keep them in that youth team. And if you want to bring a player up from the youth team for a game or so, then bring them up and actually have a lot more control between the youth team and your team, because at the moment it's just like I'll regenerate players, wait for them to come, and I might promote a couple from the youth team. It's a bit of an afterthought at the moment, and it needs to be thought out a little bit better. It could be a real gem, the youth team, if you're allowed to bring players into the youth team, and perhaps, like I say, you've got a cup match, bring a couple in and just see what they're like. Perhaps like another umbrella of spending, budget for training the youth team, and then, you know, if you invest more money, then you're going to get the youth team manager turn around and say, oh, so and so's really looking good from the youth team, I'll give them a game or something. Those sort of animations. So it's a training budget for the youth team. You're also going to have a scouting budget, which the more you plough into that, the better players the scout comes up with. A whole scout network. So a bit like FIFA, I suppose, in that respect, that you've got to buy the scouts on there, haven't you, and how good they are, and then how many you have. So I'm not saying copying it exactly, but something like that. I mean, scouting has become a massive part on PES over the last 2 or 3 years, and really it's become quite difficult to sign players unless the scout comes up with them, unless you're like batting a long way underneath your capability, so you're buying cheaper players. But the scout has become a little bit too be all and end all, and it has stopped the sort of you going out and finding the hidden gems that perhaps you used to, because it's very hard to get people in now that aren't on your scout list early doors. So I'd like a little bit more control over that again. And then the final budget thing you'd have would be training. So depending on what coaches you select to help you is how well they develop, but that would have to be a 2-tiered thing as well, along with how well they're playing. So if someone's having a really good season, I mean, that's the other thing with the actual games on PES, the ratings don't mean anything really. If there is some mechanic to make the ratings more accurate on how well someone played, and that impact their sort of form arrows and how well they develop, then that would be another really, really big thing for me, because the form arrows are just useless at the moment. So in game plan, you can have someone who's just scored a hat-trick and they can be on a down. Well, it's quite clearly, if someone's just scored a hat-trick, they would be on an up unless they were injured. Injuries are still a bit too hit and miss for me in the Master League as well. I mean, this is my squad that I've got now, and obviously that team chemistry up to 90. Very good side now, and you're winning a lot of games. Very hard work at the beginning getting that team chem up. I think the team chem is a good thing, but I think it's almost like an all-conquering god. You go from like one having such a shit team chemistry you can't win, to getting it up to a certain level, and then you win like 10, 12 in a row. Doesn't seem to be any sort of pattern in between the two. And also, I don't know what anybody else has found. I found it a lot easier to win away from home than at home on this year's PES, and I think on the Master League, and whether that's something that isn't quite aligned right to me. And then you've obviously got the skill training and all this sort of stuff. Not against all this. I mean, I love 2013 when you had the boots, which improved a certain thing. I know it was a bit role playing, a bit sort of Final Fantasy sort of Pokemon-y, I suppose, with upgrades, but I did like it. Got no problem with that. Youth team numbering, skill training, all that's fairly good. Like I said, I've got no real problem with the interface. I do think the budgets could be looked at, and like I say, I have different things on the budget. And then my piece, my real big thing that I reckon could be an absolute winner if this was brought in. I'll come out of this now. I would class it as world domination. So for me, the Master League is all about building a team from nothing and making it good. Obviously, I do my Spartan team. I always start with the default teams, and then I bring it up through the ranks. Let's just go into edit mode a minute. I'm not going to change anything, but here's my idea. So you start off with a team in whatever division you go in, say the English Premier League. So you're in the English Premier League, you've won this, so it's taken you, you started off in the Championship, you decided to come up through the English section of the game in Europe. You've won the Premier League, maybe in season 3, maybe in season 4. So you've built a decent side up, and it's just starting to get a little bit stale, because you've probably been in the English setup for 4 seasons. You've been in the Premier League maybe for 2 or 3 seasons. Yes, you've got European to look forward to, but it's getting a bit stale with your team. How many times do you want to sort of play Arsenal, Aston Villa, etc.? And how many times do you want to win the English Premier League? You've won it once, you're more than likely going to be challenging then from then on to win it again. End of the season, you're already in the Champions League next year, that's done, that's finished with. But you then get a choice on whether you want to world dominate or not. So you, like with the manager choices, at the end of the season, it comes up, do you want to world dominate? Yes or no? If you say no, you stay in the English Premier League and carry on with that. If you say yes, simple yes, you then have an option of another league where you can take your Master League team into. So you go to La Liga, you go to Serie A, you could go to the Portuguese league, you could go to whatever leagues are in the game, or you could even cross continent and go into South American leagues, you go to Argentina league, Brazilian leagues, etc., and try and win a division in another country. And then say you went into the Argentina Premier League and you went there, you'd still be you'd still be a year behind, if you like, with your European achievement. So you'd still be playing the Champions League, but you'd be playing your domestic football in Argentina this season. So you've made the decision, you then go on and win the league in Argentina. So you must win the league to be able to go to another country afterwards. So the end of the season come, you've won in Argentina. Yes, I want to world dominate again. You've qualified for the Libertadores, which it will be fantastic, won't it? You might not have won the Champions League, but you were in the Champions League last year. This coming season you're going to be in Libertadores, which is going to be playing a whole loads of teams again. You've won the Argentina First Division. Do you want to stay there for another season? Your ticket in the Libertadores is already sorted out, or do you want to go somewhere else? So the decision is on again. Do you go to Asia, perhaps in the China League? Do you go back? Oh no, I think I'm going to go back into Europe this year. I'm going to try La Liga. I'm going to take on Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Seville, Valencia. I'm going to have a season in there. You got your Libertadores you're playing because you won the Argentinian League, and it just will give the Master League some longevity. Imagine it, world domination. You could go all round all the leagues and see how many you could win with your side. Still obviously transferring players in and out. I think that would be fantastic. I don't know what you think. The reason I've come up with the idea is because I've obviously done my Legends Master League that I'm working on still, and you're watching and everything at the moment and enjoying it. And I had a choice of where to put them. And obviously I've got a mixed bag of classic teams in with me, and it was just an idea. I thought, God, if I won the league with these, wouldn't it be great to go somewhere else and play? And that's where it come up for me. And I thought, what a brilliant idea, world domination. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to do it. I'm pretty sure it would take some coding to work out, because obviously a team would have to drop out of that division each time. Just like when you select where you start a Master League, a team drops out of that division, and so forth. But I'm sure it's capable, and it would be, not everybody would have to do it. Don't think that's going to be Master League ruined, because at the end of each season you'd have a chance to do it. Or even when you start the Master League, perhaps have a button on there, like in the setting menus, like when you start another one here, and you go through everything, perhaps have a button, do you want to do you want to do world domination? And obviously if you don't, then you don't. But you can only do it, I think, really, if you start as a default. I mean, obviously, people might like the idea of being Manchester United and then taking them into different continents. I don't know. I mean, I suppose it would work in match day mode as well, maybe. But what do you think? Do you think that'd be a really good idea? Obviously, the other thing on the Master League past glories, I quite like the look of this, so you can see everything you've won. So we've won Europa League, the Sky Bet Championship, the Premier League and the FA Cup so far with my Spartan team of 2020. And that's quite good. But imagine how good that would be if you had world domination and you could go all around the world and do that. Be amazing. Because I don't know how many people really do this. I mean, I'm not got any offers there, but how many people do change clubs in the Master League? I don't think that's really what you do on this game, and I think the world domination would give you much more, because I think you start building up your own squad and you get an affiliation with certain players, and you always have probably 4 or 5 players that become lifers for you, that are going to be there for the whole journey for you. And you don't want to lose them. I mean, I suppose you could go somewhere else and try and bring them with you, but I really think it is a one club journey, the Master League, for me anyway. It might not be for other people, but that's why I think the world domination would give it longevity, would give it something new, would make it different from FIFA, and it would be really great. Obviously, national teams, not really taken off for me. I've tried it a couple of times. Probably more of a scouting thing. I've gone somewhere where there's been players that I wanted to see what they're like and play with a player to see if they're any good. So I haven't really done that much. Not sure about that. I still think I've never been sacked, and I'm not sure whether you do get sacked. I think that would be quite a good thing still to happen, and then you've got to go to manager offers. That would be, you know, and then the job offers. Then it would be a lot of a bigger thing if you did get sacked. Results squad list, yeah, it's all right, and I mean 6 seasons in. There you see when people's joined and gone and all that. And the favourite players is a touch, but what does it really do? I mean, we've got 7 favourite players here. So we've got Moise Keane, who came in. He's been with us 2 or 3 seasons now. To the Europa League crown, team of the tournament, top goal scorer. Samari, he's been with us 2001, so he's been there for 3 or 4 years. Saar, Mikenko, all good players. He's gone now after Algeria, but he was good in the beginning. He signed when we were in Sky Bet Championship, as was Reza Bazour, and as was Bodu. Now you see all his accolades, a hell of a lot. Because he's obviously been the star player of the series this year for me, hence why he's in my Legends team now in my Legends series. So yeah, just wanted to add that little touch in, because obviously I forgot that page. But it's okay, isn't it? But it could go so much further with it. And I do think that world domination is the way forward for PES Master League to really mean something. And I mean, does, like, these followers down the bottom, 1.225 million, does that mean you get more money? You know, what does it mean? There's a lot of things, a lot of fluffy things like the cutscenes and that really don't mean anything. They don't do anything really, apart from, I suppose, the cutscene when you say at the beginning where you're going to finish in the league. You know, if you don't do what you set out to do you get sacked? Can someone tell me, has anybody actually been sacked on the Master League? I'm not sure whether they have or not. That would be interesting to know, because, you know, it would be horrible, but maybe, you know, a knock on the door, a cutscene, you've got free, you need to show something in these next 3 games, otherwise you're going to be out the door when you're on a bad run or something, really, like, put the squits up you a bit, you know. That'll be good. Like I say, ideas, comments, fire them in. on what you think we ought to change for the Master League. I don't mind putting another video together and sending it to Adam or Konami or someone for some ideas. I think they're on the right track with it, but I think they need to just sort it out a little bit more. It's all about the gameplay, I know. The game needs to be good to make the Master League good. I mean, the thing that I feel with the Master League, we've had good things come into the Master League over the years, and they seem to have, like, some of the good things then disappear and they're not there the following year. So something that you thought, oh, that worked really well this year, and then the following year it's gone and something else has come in that doesn't work quite as well. I think the transfers a couple of years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, were better in a way, when it told you a percentage chance of making the signing, and the percentage went up the more money you put in it. Because what you've got at the moment doesn't really indicate anything. Like I say, I'd still like the inquire button. I'd still like options of making it easier to loan someone and then buy it. I know it's got the loan to buy option, but when they're on loan and they're doing well for you, it doesn't seem to make any difference if you try and buy them then. Whereas if a player's been doing really well and enjoying his time with you, there would be a lot more better chance of him signing. Perhaps have a cutscene or a message saying from his agent, oh, really enjoying his time here, would love to sign. Any chance of making the deal permanent or something like that, you know, things like that if someone's doing well, because in real life that does happen. If you've loaned someone and they do well, there's more of a chance of you signing them, but on the other it doesn't seem to make any difference. Those sort of things. I mean, the other things that, you know, player development is pretty good, but like I said, I think it needs tweaking. It needs to be more on you and how you play with a player. You don't want every player developing exactly the same. I think if you're really good with one player, then he should develop more game time and based on his ratings. But the ratings on PES need looking at. And I think the budgets. I think those budgets need looking at, and you could have more control over the whole club, more control over the growth of the stadium. Obviously, if you get promoted, you get a bigger budget, and then if you think, oh, I want a bigger ground, I'm going to whack 20 mil in there, and then we're going to build a new stand, and that will generate more gate receipts, which in total will give you more of a budget to spend on your players. Because obviously, you've got to decide what your transfer budget is going to be at the start or at some point during the season. So you'd have your transfer budget, scouting budget, youth development budget, player training budget, commercial budget, and your ground growth budget, something like that. What do you think? Let me know what you think. I think there's some good ideas there for Master League. I think the world domination idea is gold, and I'd certainly love it. Not authentic, and some people might say, well, football don't work like that, you can't take a side and go and play somewhere else, but why does it have to be real? We're playing it for fun. It's not, you know, you've still got the reality of playing with a team, and you just stay in the Premier League or La Liga or Serie A if you want to, but otherwise you can take your team around the world and try and win as many trophies as possible. I think that's fantastic. That would make a team absolute. That would be a dynasty. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on what you would like to change for the Master League in 2021 and beyond. I would still like 2 cup competitions if there's 2 cup competitions in that country. So like England, I would still like the FA Cup if you like, and another cup competition. So I think it gives you a chance to use your squad and to play youngsters, especially if you have that youth team option. You know, that youth team option. I liked it when they bought friendlies in at the beginning as well. You didn't have to play them, and they can be a bit of a pain if they're in the transfer window, but it gives you a chance to play with your squad. Those little competitions, I think, are a good idea. I think that ought to be there for every club, not just a club that's been successful. Those are the other little things, but Master League on the whole is pretty good. I mean, obviously gameplay is always king. I think this year's gameplay, I would like to see shooting just a little bit better. I think the amount of games I've played on it, and I've probably played getting on for 1,000+ games, I haven't scored as many bangers as I would like. This made me get out of my seat. And although you want reality, you do want enjoyment, and there's nothing better than banging one in from 20-30 yards into the top bins. And I don't think that's perhaps happens enough, and I have played with some decent players that should be capable of doing it. I know it's a fine line between getting them too OP where you score too many, but there's nothing better than cracking one in on the underside from 25 yards and makes you stand up and give out a screech. Just think there hasn't probably been enough of that on this year's game, so that's one thing I would like changed in the gameplay. And the refs are too bloody pedantic. Every time you touch them they blow, but you don't seem to get them for yourself. Very much AI controlled refs, that's for sure. Anyway, Pro Spartan Gamer out. Let me know what you think. World Domination, the way to go for PES 2021.
Just wanna tell you how I feel.